Welcome to my channel. Today we will have a look at the book by K.Kubikowska. It's not the newest one, but I was afraid for a long time to start coloring something in Carolina's books because you know that her style is quite unique, and I was afraid that I simply won't be able to add something from myself to her beautiful black, grey and white pictures. They are so perfect as graphic images that I wasn't sure that adding color I can improve them. I won't be messing up with her beautiful art. But after I got some a very positive experience coloring her smaller pictures, this beautiful set of postcards, I decided that maybe it's time for me to start working on her bigger pictures. So here I have On the Other Side of the Dream, and the book is absolutely beautiful itself. It has sturdy cardstock cover and it's even a little bit shiny. It's like a very delicate golden shining here on the cover. Oh, very attractive book, and it's a real pleasure to look at it. It's printed in perfect quality, and I think that it's a perfect match to the style of Carolina. Here we have beautiful first pages, and I do love that the whole book is made like a scan from the original art book by Carolina. Sometimes you can see texture of the paper when she used watercolor paper with more rough texture. Sometimes you can even see folds, and I think that it's added to the charm of this book. Well, when you start color here, I think that you need to forget about everything you know about coloring if you prefer to color line art like I do, and you need to experiment and to feel free in this book. I always try to think how I can add color in order to add some interesting treats to the beautiful line art of Carolina. Book is printed on perfect paper, great for everything, for pencils, for watercolor paints, for gouache, and I especially love these pages where we have this scanned texture. I am also quite grateful that here we have pages in full color included. We can use them as an inspiration. That's definitely style of coloring which I want to try here when we have watercolor elements added behind the black and line elements. It would be a very good practice to work with your brush, to do simple shapes of the leaves, of the plants, of the butterflies, berries, flowers probably, when they create nice addition to the black and white line art. Definitely I want to try to color in such way when you don't cover the original art but rather you add your own details. Very challenging but very interesting. Of course, I plan to use here my Inktense and graphite ink pencils. I already tried them on the postcards and I think that their colors suit perfectly style of Carolina. I think that I love to color her pictures in such a way that the main color palette is relatively dark. So that's where I can use my graphitins, my dark colors of watercolor paints. Especially I love how my granulating watercolor behave here. But for couple of the elements I prefer to use a very bright colors to make couple of color accents, and in such way I can use either my regular pencils or my metallic watercolors. I think that by adding a little bit of gold or pearl colors, these pictures they really started to look much more magical. I especially love the spread. You know that I love to color owls, and that's the spread which I intend to color in the first place. That's another example of pages, scans of pages from Carolina's art journal probably. Very interesting. Again, here I can imagine doing everything here in relatively dark colors. I imagine dark indigo, dark magenta or violet, purple here. And just a little bit of bright color here. You know that this kind of birds, they have very bright blue feathers on them. Central part of the body on the neck, and maybe a little bit of brighter color on the berries, and it will be perfect. When I look at her pictures, I always want to add some gold or metal accents. So probably it's time to go and to grab my Arteza metal and perlash and gouache paints. They also will be perfect here. I do love that some of the pictures are more simplified like this one, so I am sure that if you select to color with watercolors, you can finish such work quite quickly. Some pictures are more detailed, and it's very interesting to look at them, a texture which was added by Carolina. Some are much more challenging, and you can think about a story behind this page. It's a little bit creepy. Many pictures are a little bit creepy, but it's more interesting to color when you have not only sweet and simple flowers, but with some strange addition like we have here. I think that's probably what does art of Karolina Kubikowska so unique. This uh, big contrast between lighter and dark areas, and I think that for me it was one of the most uh, difficult points to go through, how to color such dark pictures. But as I said, after I tested coloring on the smaller pictures, I think that now I grab and I realized how I can color such pictures. And her animals, they are absolutely great. I do love that they have both realistic features, but also they have some fantasy details that sometimes they are morphed into plants or into some other creatures. Very interesting. I'm sure that for me it would be a very good way to return to coloring with watercolors. It's a skill which I sadly abandoned lately, starting to color much more with just regular pencils. But I am sure that in this book I will be color more with watercolors and with ink tents. That's another picture which I really want to do. I already can imagine all colors which I can use here. For the background, I want to add some pearl and metal colors, and for the reindeer, probably I will be using my set of Derwent drawings. They also are good here. Look at this beauty. I always envied persons who already colored this page. I always like to watch other works. That was one of my favorite pictures in the whole book, and now I will be able to do it myself. Another beauty. Maybe when we have such a way of line art, I mean more sketchy way, it's less frightening to color the skin tone, hair, other details, because you already have this more freehand way of line art draw, so when you add color you also can feel more free and relaxed. It's another one gorgeous page, but also it's creepy. Well, I think that it's not a very good unicorn. This parts of the blood coming from the eye, it's added some creepy treat to the image. What a fantasy she has. Perfect. So interesting. As I said, I really love these pictures where we can see on the scanned texture of the watercolor paper. I do love that she added here a lot of roses. I love to color them, but usually my roses are quite flat. And now when I carefully look at the line art with shading, of course I can analyze that I need to add more contrast between petals, just like Carolina did on her colorings, on her line art drawings, so I hope that it will also help me in other pictures. That's another gorgeous spread. I want to color it, but I haven't decided yet about all colors, so this one will wait, but I will remember that I have such a beautiful pair of birds. That's definitely a book for the bird lovers. Well, this one will be interesting but challenging to color, and that's where I definitely will use all my pearl and metal watercolors. I do love my pearl watercolors, but you know that on the white paper they never show the real beauty. So I always appreciate papers with black pictures with black background where I can use them in their full beauty. They start to shine so nice on the paper. So it will be time for my fine tech and color paints here. It's another gorgeous portrait. I always wanted to do it. I do love her foxes, but I already did couple of foxes in small set of postcards, so that one will have to wait. And I do love her dream catchers. It's a very sweet addition. I always love pictures with dream catchers. And here you can see that you can color her pictures not only with dark colors but with relatively light and pastel color palette, like she did here with all those beautiful light greens and light yellow colors. It's another thing to learn. Another creepy page, but I don't mind to color such style of pictures. Sometimes it's really a very good distraction for all those sweet pictures with bunnies, flowers and cute animals which I usually color. Sometimes I really want to color something like this to completely change my color palette, to change style of coloring, so it will be really very refreshing. And this portrait is also gorgeous. The girl depicted like probably like a doll, and I do love this glass globe which she's holding with some gemstones, crystals in the central part. I would say that on the first sight it's slightly shocking how it's possible to color this style of pictures. You can simply admire the art of the artist in its black and white beauty, but I think that with careful color planning and by experimenting with various media, I will be able to create at least something similar to these beautiful spreads which we have here as an examples, as a sources of our inspirations. As usual, site of K.Kubikowska shop and site of Decamate shop where you can purchase this book I will put down in the info box. And please wish me luck that I will gather all my courage and that I will finally start to color in this gorgeous book because it deserves to be used, and I hope that I will do a lot of color and material experiments here. So please follow my videos. Thank you for watching and until my next reviews.